Howdy, and welcome to the Texas Bucket List, the show dedicated to everything there is to see, do, and experience right here in the Lone Star State. My name is Shane McAuliffe, and we've been doing the Texas Bucket List for over 5 years. Yet it never ceases to amaze me when we come across stops we never even heard of. That was exactly the case when we found ourselves in Frisco, at a place called Traintopia. It's got dozens of trains, a massive amount of buildings, and lots of people. And all of it happens to fit in one room. In a big building dedicated to discovery in Frisco, you'll find a smorgasbord of things to do. If you stay on track, all the way to the back of the building, you'll find a mighty display on a miniature level.
We are at Traintopia, which is the newest exhibit at the Museum of the American Railroad here in Frisco.
Bob Laprelle is the president and CEO of the Museum of the American Railroad, which happens to be home to Traintopia.
You'll see trains moving about while you actually walk around the entire layout. You're going to see 7 different operating lines.
The museum is home to all sorts of big trains out back that are all historically significant.
After seeing all the miniatures, this feels very daunting though.
But that story will leave the station at another time, because it's the little things in life we like to focus on.
I mean, it's just unreal.
It's an amazing creation.
Bob was all aboard when the museum was approached about receiving the train set as a donation from Jane Sanders. She had inherited the collection from her husband Steve. You see, Steve was a former oil man and precious metals collector that happened to have owned a hobby shop and had a lot of love for little locomotives.
She was in a real dilemma about what to do with this $1 million train layout that Stephen had built. And it's a win-win situation. She was able to get it out of her home, sell her house, and we were able to add a fantastic exhibit to the museum.
Piece by piece, it was moved to Frisco and painstakingly reassembled.
It really appeals to people of all ages. I mean, adults love it.
Depicting the American Southwest starting with Dallas and traversing all the way to Colorado, the massive 2,500 square foot set with a quarter-mile worth of track is stacked with scenarios.
You've got the curio shops and the little tourist courts up here in New Mexico. Very typical of what you would have seen in Cimarron Canyon. New Mexico kind of transitions into Arizona.
Okay.
You start getting some beautiful colors and hues. Downtown Dallas is really where it all culminates. And you have a very active Main Street from circa about 1965, showing all the theater marquees, all the tall buildings, and even Duran Chevrolet. And then finally you end up at Dallas Union Terminal, where all the passenger trains arrived and departed from Dallas. Every time I look at this layout, I see something new. And there's just so much finite detail, you know, that they brought into this layout. And they all tell a story of Steve Sanders. That's what's amazing.
The town transitions between day and night. Blinking lights, signs, and the Palo Duro Drive-In take on an all-new life in the darkness, as do the people that represent stories only Steve could tell.
Did Steve ever put himself in here?
Not that I know of. Now, it's possible that he's in there somewhere and Jane just hasn't told us.
All I know is some of the women are very voluptuous.
Yes. We actually took a few out.
Oh, too risque.
A little bit too risque.
Well, it's been said that the devil's in the details, but here, that means so much more. It's the particulars in the people, and the curious conversations they all seem to be having with minute meetings and everything.
It's unreal. As you look around, you see the lights, the detail, the Coke bottles, the wrenches in the garage. It's just unbelievable.
Parking meters, you can see them loading their luggage into the cab. It's just an amazing adventure. One of the things that we've really tried to do with this layout is beyond entertainment, is to inspire a new generation, introduce them to the world of railroads and the world of trains.
So, be it day or night, on a miniature scale that is, you can stop by Traintopia and get a first-class ticket to an amazing world, frozen in time on the tracks, that is now a treasure Texans can hop on board with.
This was only available to a small number of people that Steve knew, and now everybody can enjoy it.